What's up? I'm Chef Mark Noguchi. My friends call me Gooch. My journey through kitchens around the world has cultivated a deep curiosity towards the people and places that produce our food. Join me as we honor our community who live aloha aina, our love of the land. People automatically associate hula with Hawaii. And okay, that's fine. There's a certain amount of truth to that. But then you start digging deeper. Hawaii, okava kahiko, in the times of old, it was an orational society, right? Things were spoken. You had to pay attention and listen to remember the story of your family. You had to remember it and be the keeper of that knowledge. I've wanted to hula since I was a kid, but coming from a pretty strong Japanese family, hula was not in the books as far as my father was concerned. So I was real lucky when I ended up in Hilo. I think a good dose of luck and fate brought me to that intersection of Halaokekuhi and my kumu at the time. She was just so like, Noguchi, if you're serious about hula, my family, we have a small halau. Maybe if you're serious, you can show up and change my life. Just loved it with every fiber of my being. So for me, hula as a dancer or as a ho'opa'a, it is this living embodiment of a culture. That's what I think it has such a strong connotation to it, is because for many, po'e hula, it is a way of life. So for those that are of hula people, it's something I think that's forever. You're forever impacted by that.
I come from a line of hula practitioners through my father's side, and that is the Big Island connection. And hula is basically in our DNA. I've always known that. Even though I grew up here, my father made sure that I understood that, I came from hula. Being able to be in Halaokekuhi was where I was able to kind of grow and understand, more deeply where hula came from for us and how important it is for our family, because it is our practice, our contribution to our lahui, our contribution to our posterity in our ohana.
I remember the first time that I watched Kau'i hula, and I thought to myself, that is the most magical dancer I've seen in my life. And you look at her, just tall in stature, regal. Kau'i's presence, the majesticness that she carries, it's not so much that hula gives that to her, so much as that I believe that her ano comes from being rooted in knowing who she is, where she comes from. She's also a Kanaka ole, so she knows why she's there. Everything within her life is pa. And she brings that to the table for hula. And it just so happens that because she hulas, everyone else has the pleasure of witnessing that.
Gooch and I were talking about when we were in hula and how so many different parts of what we did as dancers, we were able to draw upon all of those things in whatever we chose to do with our lives. Hula is the vehicle that helps you to see the world that you are operating in from a very holistic perspective. You see what you have to do physically and also the mental tenacity that it takes in order to execute everything you do.
That word intent, we say it a lot in kitchens too. You gotta cook with intent. If you're cooking with intent, you're putting a certain amount of ano, putting a certain amount of mana into your cooking. And those similar lessons are taught in halal. Whether you are making a lei, whether you are cleaning the floor, all of that is done with intent. Those lessons are all very similar parallels. And both of them also have the ability to nourish and to feed. Whether you're feeding your soul, your mind, both of those worlds nourish. Both of those worlds can tell a story.
In hula, we learn that from a young age to malama your area and malama all of your things for hula. Whether it's your lei or your instrument or your practice pa'u, you need to care for it because you took it from its place of living and you made it your own. You put your own energy into it. That tool is charged with your mana. It already has its own, and you charged it. It's the same way that I see Gooch and how he treats his apron and how he treats his knife bag and his knife. When you pick up that knife every time you're going to prepare a meal, you're preparing yourself to serve this food that will nourish people, that will inspire people, that will make them ma'ana. Same thing with hula. When you pick up that ipu or that pu'ili, you become what it is that you're dancing. Hula has given us that gift. It has given us that basic foundation, that training, that understanding that when you put your energy into something, it gives it back to you. And so put good energy into it. Take care of it. It deserves that integrity because of the work that it does, the work that you do. I think hula has given us that. It's given him that, and it's transparent. You can see it.
Moving from hula to cooking was one of the hardest things that I've done in my life. People don't ask why I don't dance anymore. It's because I'm not an olapa with halau ke kuhi anymore. My contribution, my part, it's to be of service to nourish. And now I get to use that other parallel and I get to feed. And I think that that's what it was for me, is understanding that that was my place and being okay with that. I'm proud of my transition. I'm proud to be centered because I have a new dance now.